sports in Baltimore and WNST agency, as well as baseball and spring training. And, of course, the Wizards, the Caps are on the West Coast. The Terps are trying to bring home a Big Ten title and get themselves seated as nicely as possible on Sunday night. I was at the Super Bowl 5 weeks ago. I'm at a cocktail party, and I'm probably somewhere between a lamb chop and some sort of Asian-inspired sushi or some dish. And I turn to my left, and there's Gary Baxter, former Raven, out of Baylor, and he says, man, I want to come on your program in Baltimore. And I said, Gary, you got an open line anytime you want to come on. So here I present on the eve of free agency, one of my all-time favorite free agent stories, the great Gary Baxter joins us from Dallas, Texas. What's up, Gary? How you been, man?
I'm well, Nestor. How you doing, buddy?
Well, I called you and I said, I don't even know why you want to come on. You didn't go into media when you were done. You're not on ESPN like some of your former teammates in the NFL Network. You're doing like commercial real estate in Dallas. I mean, how'd you get this line of work after being a DB in the league?
Well, I tell you what, thanks for having me on first and foremost. And I always admired you as a good friend, and I worked with you on the radio show. So I tell you what, I got into commercial real estate after I got done playing. I just knew business was for me. I loved it, and I love it. It's to see something develop, to take land, develop it, put a building there, and make it into good use, and to buy it, sell it. I love it. So you're never really attached to a property or whatever the case, but it's willing and dealing. It's almost kind of like a free agent time right now. You're willing and dealing.
You know what?
So I love it.
I called you, and I picked this time. And when we got together a couple weeks ago, I've been gone out of the country, and I was just going through my phone of people that, said they want to come on the show. People stop me a lot and say, hey, man, let's catch up. I'm like, great, let's catch up on the radio. Audience would love to hear what you're up to, and they remember you playing here. Dude, I remember your free agency period, 2005. I remember it because I was on a vacation with my wife, and Casey Willett was covering the team. We had the staff on it, and I remember this thing about a McDonald's and signing and not signing, and the Browns, and you wanting to stay in Baltimore but having to go to Cleveland, and they offered you more money. Give me the story now, 12 years later, as you remember, because you had not as good as Bart Scott's free agency, where Pettin and Rex Ryan got chased by the dog, jumping the fence at midnight. That's a true story, too. But yours is still a pretty good. Tell me that story.
I'll tell you what. I wanted to be in Baltimore, and things just didn't work out contractually. So, I said I was going to go and visit other teams, and right when I was leaving the house, Ozzie Newsome called me, and he was like, well, let's just meet again. Let's meet one more time. And I said, I was on my way to the airport, and so we decided to meet at McDonald's. Out of all the places that we can meet at, it was McDonald's. And what's funny about that is we met at McDonald's, and there was a kid's birthday party going on, and the parents knew who we were, and we was talking, and so they was telling the kids, be quiet, be quiet. And I felt so bad, and it's funny now, and I was just like, oh, my God, we are in McDonald's right now negotiating and trying to figure out how we can make this thing work. And I ended up said, okay, well, let me just take a visit to Cleveland, and let me just see what my other options look like. And I went to Cleveland, and they made me an offer that you just couldn't turn down. And I told Ozzie, I said, I will call you. That's my word before I sign. And I said, I'm going to call you, see if you'll match it. And if not, then, it's business. And we laugh and we chuckle at it now. But it was the weirdest thing, meeting in McDonald's, negotiating an NFL contract.
Well,
at a kid's birthday party.
And you didn't get it done. I mean, did you? Did it have a little play land? Was it one of the McDonald's with the little balls they throw around, the little slides, or no?
Yes, it was. It actually was, and it was so funny because the parents knew what was going on, and they was just telling the kids, "Shh, be quiet, be quiet," And I'm like, "Oh man, I feel so bad." But I tell you what, it was a great experience being Ozzie. We laugh about it now. And it's also good to talk about it because free agent is a time to where, it is a lot of crazy things going on. I mean, I love Baltimore. Baltimore will forever be in my heart. And, it's just one of those things when it comes down to free agent, there's all kind of weird things that happen. And it just goes so fast. And, guys are really thinking about a million things and trying to figure out, all right, what's the best fit, defense, community, the whole non-contract, everything. So
Well, I mean,
fun,
Gary, I mean,
stressful.
I'm not looking to embarrass you, but it was a $10.5 million signing bonus reported. The difference for any human being between 10.4 and 10.5 is $100,000. There's nobody in our listening audience that would not take that seriously. It just looks like a point and a number when it's like in the newspaper or it's out on the internet or it's on your Twitter feed now, right? But in reality, it's life-altering money. That's money that's going to buy your mom a house. It's going to go to your retirement. It's something that's going to take care of your children. I mean, and, I think that sometimes gets lost on all of us when we talk about, like right now, Gary, I'll give you a great example. We're talking about Melo Trimble, right? The Maryland guard. He's in his junior year. Should he go to the NBA draft? Would he be a second-round pick or a first-round pick? And I was talking to John Crispin, Big Ten Network this week. He's like, hey, my man, next year he can make $500,000 or he can come back and work for free. Now, you tell me, it sounds like he's not going to get $20 million, but he has like pizza money right now. He's a college student. Do you remember what it was like being a college student? And, I think for all of us, when we've made our first little bundle of money and can afford Chinese delivery for dinner if we want, tonight. We feel like we got it made. And, some of us are lucky enough and worked hard enough like yourself to have that moment, that moment where you can take care of your family potentially. And you did. Any regrets at all in any way? I mean, I know you had a very checkered past because the injuries came very, very quickly after that. I mean, a lot of it was robbed from you. And that happens to athletes every day, which is why you need to protect yourself because there wasn't a second $10.5 million free agency for you. It didn't come.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, I did sign with $10.5 million with the Browns, and we was way off. It wasn't $100,000 off. We was way off by some millions. So, to your point, you have to protect yourself because you never know what next play could be your last play, and so that's the stress of a player that's going into the free agent world that you're thinking about a lot of things. But also, what was near and dear to my heart was the community of Baltimore. I did a lot of things in the community, and I didn't want to leave, but I had to because it was business. And in any case of business, you have to do what you have to do to take care of your family. It was about the future, and that's the whole purpose why you work hard there. Because football is one play away from it all being over with. And, I was lucky enough to get to as far as I gotten. And then when I did sign, and then, like you said, the injuries came out of nowhere because I was able to play 4 years and make the season and play every 4 years. But then when I got to Cleveland, things happened. So that's the tricky part about free agents, and it's a cutthroat business. It's good and bad at the same time. It's great experience, great negotiation. And I tell you what, I'm lucky and I'm blessed enough to be able to have that experience. But to your point, there's a lot of under the lines that a lot of people don't see. But I tell you, you know what, I really did miss the Baltimore community. Like I said, Baltimore will always and forever be in my heart because I love the fans, I love the people, still love the Ravens. They're my team. They was the first team that drafted me, so, it's my first love and always will be. And I have love for Cleveland, too, but the Ravens were my first love, so they were the one that gave me my chance. And it's just, you look back at it now and you just say, what a great experience. And I wish every one of those guys is going through the free agent period right now. I know what they're going through, and I also know what the teams are going through. So, and fans in the community, they love players, they love guys, they don't want guys to leave. But it's a business at the end of the day, and that's what you got to keep in mind. So I feel like it prepared me for the next level, for me to get into the commercial real estate and the negotiation and the business. But it is a tough business, and, sometimes it works out great, sometimes it doesn't. And in this case, well, it did work out. It worked out for the better, let's just say, because I'm still on the show with Nestor.
Gary Baxter joining us from deep in the heart of Texas. You got properties like in Waco and Tyler, and, you got links to everything. But, dude, I remember you coming through Baylor at a time when, I remember talking to you and you laughing with me. I remember you wanted to be in the clothing industry. I remember that in fashion design. I remember those conversations we had when you were a young guy. You're still a young guy. You're not even 40. You don't even need reading glasses yet. I feel like you're an old guy, but you're 38, man. But for that period of time, you'd never played on a winner at Baylor, and that was kind of a tough spot. And and I know another guy in O.J. Brigance from that part of the world down there too, and playing on. What happened to Baylor the last 10 years? You probably had a lot of fun being a Baylor alum there, didn't you?
I did. My years when I was a Baylor, it was, we was a graveyard team. I mean, we didn't win much at all. So like you said, when Art Browse come through and Baylor's been winning and I was almost at every game, big game, and just to see my school actually compete and win, there was a lot of guys in the locker room that used to be laughing at Baylor, but I wore my Baylor shirt with pride. And anytime you had the Miami Hurricane guys, the Ray Lewis, all of them talking about the school and the big games, and I sit over in the corner and be like, sick 'em Bears, Baylor, and they all laugh. And now, when we had our period of time when things were going great for Baylor.
It was 16 years without a bowl. I just did the math on this. From 94 to 2010, there were no bowl games. So you never played in a bowl there.
I never played a bowl game. I played in Senior Bowl.
Yeah, but I mean, when a program turns around, like here at Maryland, they've played in a BCS game once. But people can't see it. But then it happens, right? I mean, and for that program there, obviously, there's a lot of scrutiny, and we can go up and down the river on all that and how it all happened over the last 10 years. But when that excitement comes, it envelopes people like you that didn't get to drink it in when you were there, right?
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I love the school for the fact that they understood that I didn't enjoy that when my years at Baylor. And so actually when they was going through that, I was on the sideline. I was living vicariously through those guys. And every time I walk in on the sideline, those guys were like, we doing this for you. You built this out. So it was like not directly, but indirectly, I was a part of the team. And it's just always great to see your school win and do good, especially knowing the history where I come from and what things are going, where things were when I was coming through, and then see the school go through a very good successful period of time. And now, we back at kind of some dark ages now, we ain't going to talk about that, but, we're going through another rough period of time, and it's going to get better sooner or later. But, it's unfortunately that, things happen. There's cycles, good and bad cycles, and unfortunately, our school is going through another bad cycle, but it will turn again, and so I look forward to it. But right now, we got to deal with the fact of the matter, or the things that's going on now. We just got to deal with them, and it's unfortunately. But I tell you what, I did enjoy the glory days that we did have, and they were awesome.
At least you had some down there. The Browns are never going to have glory days, Gary. Come on.
Well, I tell you what, I don't know. You never know, but you got a young team. I think Hugh Jackson is going to do, he's building that team. You got a lot of young characters over there, so you just never know.
They got the first pick. They got the first pick, right? They're going to get the best player, allegedly, right?
Yeah, well, a good way to say it, allegedly. But the first pick don't come in and turn the program around. It takes a cohesiveness of a team, as well as the front office, as well as the players, and you got to build around these guys. These young, I think they're going to be very young as a young team, and they have a chance. Here's the true measurement of a champion is coming together and through adversities, and whenever no one gives you the credit and you bond together and you make things happen, that's what I believe that can happen. And that can happen anywhere. So it doesn't matter if you're at the bottom of the barrel or at the top, because it can always go up and down for either or, whichever end you are on. So at the end of the day, enjoy whichever one you're at and work hard at it. If you're at the bottom of the barrel, work hard at it to get to the top. And if you're at the top, you got to work even harder to stay at the top, because the bottom of the barrel is coming.
Yeah, I looked through these Baylor years that you had there. I mean, and I remember this. I mean, 2-9, 2-9, 1-10, 2-9. That's kind of like where you were, 0-8 and 0-8 in the conference. You got to win in '98. I guess your freshman year. I don't even know who you must have beat that year, but that's where you came from, and you still played well enough, strong enough to make yourself a second-round draft pick, to get yourself paid, and then you got injured. But you're just a great story. I think cautionary tale for what happens after these free agent contracts get signed, because it doesn't always go great. And I would say 12 years later, you probably have no regret at all, because that's money you would have left in the game that now is helping you take care of your family. So hats off to you. It was great running into you, bro. It's always good to see you. You always get a big smile, and you always got something going on. And I hope I run into you again sometime soon down there in Texas, man.
Absolutely, anytime, and I look forward to being back on your show. I always have fun with you guys, especially you. I thought the world of you, and that's why I'm doing it again. And I'm actually thinking about getting back into radio, so it's on my radar. I'm having fun in the commercial real estate business, but I love being on the radio with you guys, having fun, talking sports.
You got to get on Twitter, Baxter. He's not on Twitter. He's not on Facebook. Not on LinkedIn. Dude, you're keeping a low profile. That's fine, man. I know how to find you. I got 10 digits. I'll find you, man. Hey, take care of yourselves. It was good having you on. Appreciate your stories. And you feeling okay post football? Everything's good physically with you?
Oh yes, everything is good. I'm actually feeling great, and I'm gonna knock on some wood. But everything feels great. I work out every day. I do a lot of Pilates now. So that helps in stretching. So I just got to always forever work out for the rest of my life. That's a gift and a curse. So I feel great, man. I'm good, man. I love it. I'm in a great place in life, and I'm blessed for that, and I thank God.
I'm going to let everybody know Gary Baxter's doing okay down in Texas. Good to have you on, Gary.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Thanks, Nestor, and you take care, buddy.
The colorful and always loquacious Gary Baxter, former Raven, joining us here. A little free agent story there for you on the eve of free agency, one of my favorite stories. And I did run into Gary, and he's a great guy, as you can tell. So you can find me out in the Bahia Toyota Audio Vault. We'll get back into Ravens, Orioles, and spring training and free agency. We got the Caps and the Wizards in the middle of the night. Of course, we got the Terps playing down at the Verizon Center Big Ten Tournament. Naming the brackets on Sunday. Big couple weeks coming up here as we get up on opening day and the Masters and all sorts of stuff happening around here. You can find me in the Bahia Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device. Download the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear. Nasty at WNST.net finds me. We're broadcasting live on Facebook Live, YouTube on our WNS TV channel. We're always out on Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat. Everywhere Gary Baxter's not is where we are. London trip on sale. If you need me, you know where to find me. And, of course, head coach Barry Trotz of the Washington Capitals joining us up here in Baltimore on March the 20th. We'll have some more details on that soon. I'm Nestor. This is WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.